Hi, welcome to What's Happening in Your City. I'm Kim Best, your host. Today we're here to talk with Goldsboro Police Chief Jeff Stewart. We're here to discuss the recent spike in crime in our community. Hi, Chief Stewart. How are you this morning?
Great. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. We are ready to talk about the recent spike in our crime. We're ready to talk about what the Goldsboro Police Department is doing short-term and long-term to address these issues. And we're going to talk about how the community can help as well.
Great. I look forward to talking with you and the community to address these serious issues that we're facing.
And they are very serious.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about first, like we said, in the past few months, there's been a lot of crime activity has been spiked, much more so than in recent years, and this has happened over the past few months.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me what is the Goldsboro Police Department doing in the short term to address these serious issues?
Well, in the short term, we're focusing our resources on the known areas of concern, the areas where these crimes are happening.
Mm-hmm. Are they localized?
Yeah, they seem to be, in different pockets of the city. You're going to be seeing a lot more uniformed police officers patrolling there, actually getting out of their vehicles, foot patrol, bike patrols. We're also going to be using the Goldsboro Command vehicle. Mm-hmm. We've been authorized, the council gave us some overtime money to put this vehicle out there.
That's the Mobile Command Center?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. And they're going to be out there at peak hours, different hours. We'll change the hours up as needed, just to have our presence in those areas.
Right. You mentioned having the patrolmen out actually on foot and on bicycles, and that's the implementation of your community policing program that you started 1st of September, correct?
Absolutely, and it's working very well. We've made a number of arrests with our bike patrol, our foot patrols. The community, they seem to really enjoy it. The officers are interacting with the community. We're getting some leads, information. It's been a success.
So how does that work? How does the police officers being in the community, how does that change things? What does that make the community want to do?
Well, I think we kind of, over the years, we got used to staying in the cars with technology. I mean, we have our MDTs in there, our camera systems, and we didn't need to interact as much. If we wanted to identify somebody, as long as we can make visual contact, they could be a block, 2 blocks away, mm-hmm. and we could just zoom our camera up on them and reach over to our MDT and say, yep, that's that person. Well, 15 years ago, you had to get out of the car and talk to people to find people you had warrants on or you need to serve criminal summons on. So I think we've lost a little bit of that, and that's what we're trying to get back. Just basically getting out there and communicating with the citizens.
Right,
letting them know
building
who we
that
are.
Trust and relationship.
I mean, I've been into schools and I've told the kids that we don't want you running from us, we want you running to us.
Well, and so that's one of the main things you're doing is the community policing program that you started September the 1st.
Absolutely.
And obviously it's working. Because you said you've seen a recent spike in calls and information that has been sent to the police department. Is that correct?
Yeah, on a few of these cases we're investigating, we've had a lot of community involvement in it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's community policing, and then you said the mobile command unit is out there invisible. People can see it.
Yep.
They see that you are there in those particular areas or those pockets throughout our community where the violent crimes continue to happen over and over.
Absolutely.
So with that mobile command unit, what are the positives? What are the good reasons for us to have that?
Well, one, it's very visible. Mm-hmm. It's a large van with the blue lights constantly going. We want people to know we're in the area. Mm-hmm. And then we can do several things from it. We can launch bike patrols, foot patrols. Officers can come in there and go over the paperwork. I mean, there's just a lot of things we can do with that vehicle.
Right. Well, they were our short-term goals. So now with our more long-term goals, we're talking about, over the next few months, what can we do in the long term to really continue to work on this spike in crime?
Well, the council, again, the city manager and council authorized me to hire an additional sergeant's position to formulate something similar to the High Point model, mm-hmm. Which has been very successful over the past 15, 20 years in the city of High Point.
Right, and I believe you called it the Community Partnership Program.
Right.
Okay.
That's going to be her title. She's going to be working with community volunteers, the DA's office, and she's going to be the coordinator of this.
Okay, so she will spend all of her time
Absolutely.
Working with this new community partnership program.
Right.
So can you give us a few more details? What does this program do? I know you mentioned High Point is the model that you all are following. So tell me, what does this program do? So you mentioned who all you would have involved.
Well, basically, it stems from a research done by Dr. David Kennedy, who actually was involved in writing the book from Boston, Massachusetts, in Operation Ceasefire back in 1996. And then the High Point developed their plan from that book. And it's been very successful. Basically what it is most of the crimes in any given city, not Goldsboro, it could be anywhere in the United States, is committed by the same bunch of people.
The same groups of people?
Absolutely. I mean, you can read the papers, sometimes you read the same names over and over again. And what it actually does is you just focus in on this group of individuals. And then, you know, you work up your cases, and then you bring them, family members in and say, listen, you know, the civilian volunteers, you know, representatives from the district attorney office are on board. The police department have a representative there and say, listen, if this happens again, this is what's going to happen.
So they're hearing their consequences up front.
Right, and then they'll be served a notice, you know, so they understand.
So you're bringing to the table the people that are committing the crime, their family members,
Absolutely.
district attorney's office representatives.
Well, they're on board with the High Point model.
Okay, so you're bringing in your people within the law. You're bringing in, of course, representatives from the police department, and then you're bringing in community members that have a vested interest in this.
Exactly right.
So all of these people together are meeting with these people who are committing the crime, this small group of people that are committing the crime.
Absolutely.
And so you're working with them to say, if you do this again, or if you commit another crime, this is what's going to happen to you.
And more than likely, they will go through the trial process, and they will, you know, you get a minimum and a maximum. And I'm sure if they violate that crime, we're going to push for the maximum sentence. And
Right.
it means prison time.
Right, exactly. So they're not going to be getting right back out again.
Exactly.
Okay, they're going to be put away for long periods of time. Well, talking about High Point, since that's where this model is based upon, tell me a little bit more about their success rate that they had, or how were their successes
Well,
I
I actually went probably about 3 weeks ago and talked to the chief from High Point, and they love it. I mean, he's the third chief that's had this High Point model in place.
The third chief? So this means they've been using this model for years.
Yeah, and when it first started, they were able to go into these areas where the violent crimes were being done, and that they were able to decrease it by 30%. And that's huge.
Oh my goodness. Well, I would believe some of the statistics you were saying was out of the 900 people that participated in the program in one given amount of time, over 800 did not become repeat offenders.
I think that's from the start to now.
The start to the finish.
Correct.
Wow, that's still a large number. 800 out of 900 that are not repeat offenders in that area. That's a significant drop in the amount of crimes in that area. And so not only they used this particular model on whatever happened to be the most criminal activity at that time, and then through the years they've used it on whatever happens next. Is that correct?
I think they first targeted the violent offenders.
Right.
You know, people that would, gun violations, shooting incidents, but yeah, it'll work on any crime.
So
Absolutely.
we're bringing that to Goldsboro.
And it's going to take some time to get it set up. But again, we've got the person picked out for it, and we're starting that process now.
Well, it sounds like the city council, the mayor and city council definitely are putting their money where their mouth is.
Oh, very supportive.
They're supportive of this program. They're doing anything that will be in the best interest of solving these crimes and preventing these crimes short term and on the long term.
And with that being said, I think we need to also commend the citizens from Goldsboro that are stepping forward and also assisting.
Absolutely. And like you said earlier, whether it's because of the community policing program that you've implemented back in 1st of September, or whether it's a combination of that and the citizens are tired of the violence.
That's going well. Basically what we did is we've taken the police department and we've kept the officers in their assigned zones for a period of 6 months now, instead of rotating them every month. And then we split each zone into quadrants, and we have residential wards where you should be seeing the officers getting out of the police cars, going up in these residential areas and addressing citizens' concerns.
So getting to know the citizens, building trust,
Absolutely.
And they're in the community long enough periods of time that you do get to see the same face over and over, and you do get to build relationships with these officers. So you feel comfortable calling them if you see something unusual or odd in your community.
And they're also sharing information with one another in that zone. So it's working. We're starting to see the trickle-down effects of some really good arrests. And I'm very pleased with the process so far.
That's a great positive step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Well, with the increase in community involvement in solving these cases and preventing this criminal activity, how do you see things moving in the future? Do you see us being able to start getting this under control?
Yes, absolutely. Again, we need the citizens behind us. The police department, I don't care where it is in the United States, what country it is, a police department relies on their citizens.
Right.
A police department will only be as effective as the citizens. I mean, if the citizens start calling us in with the information, these problems could be over, very shortly.
Right. And like you said earlier, it seems to be every crime, one right after another, seem to be small groups of individuals that are believed to be responsible for most all of these incidents of violence.
And when they're positively identified, they will be arrested, and we will seek the maximum sentence.
Absolutely. It sounds like you all are working diligently to both in the short term and the long term to solve the crimes, but also to find measures to prevent crimes as much as anyone can do.
All the officers are volunteering, again, for the Mobile Command Center. The officers during this spike in crime, is there anything else I can do? I can't say enough for our investigative unit. Those teams of investigators have worked around the clock, logging in the past 2 weeks over 400 hours of overtime.
Oh my goodness.
They care.
Absolutely.
And that's one message I really want to get to the citizens is your officers care about this community, and they will do anything they can. They just need your help.
Is there certain numbers that they can call Chief Stewart if they want to, if they see something odd or if they see criminal activity? What are the sources? Who do they call?
Well, they can call the Goldsboro Police Department at 919-580-4239, or they can always call Crime Stoppers, 919-735-2255. Again, we will follow up on any lead that they give us.
Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate the information on what the Goldsboro Police Department and our community can do together to partner to make our community better, to stop this increase in violence. I know you care. I know your department cares. You want to solve these cases and you want to prevent them in the future.
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. We want this to stop. Goldsboro is a beautiful city. It really is. We just need to get a small group of individuals under control.
Well, it sounds like you all have a plan, both short-term and long-term, and we appreciate what you're doing, and we appreciate you asking the community for help. So if you have any information that you'd like to share, Chief Stewart has just given you 2 different numbers you can call the Goldsboro Police Department or Crime Stoppers, and we appreciate anything and everything you as a community can do to help us. Like he said, Goldsboro is as good, and the police department is as good as its citizens. So thank you so much. If you have questions, feel free to call those numbers or information. Thank you for listening to what's happening in your community.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.